I don't know if you remember this or not, but all the way back in April, OnePlus announced that they were going to be launching their first AI feature, the AI eraser for photos. We talked about this on the channel, and since then, a whole lot has changed in the world, right? So, like, Magic Editor has rolled out to pretty much everyone that wants it. Samsung has launched their own generative edit type feature. And as impressive as this maybe did look whenever they first announced it, maybe now it looks fairly commonplace. And unfortunately, even though they announced it in April, it just never really seemed like it rolled out until now, because it has rolled out and it is live on my very own OnePlus Open. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this OnePlus Open and we're going to take this Pixel 9 Pro Fold and we are going to use Magic Editor and we are going to use the brand new AI eraser on the same photo, trying to do the same edits. We're going to see, can OnePlus's AI actually stand up to the competition? All right, so we have the same photo loaded up on both devices. And you can see here on the OnePlus Open device, AI Eraser is now the option. It used to say something else because it used to be something else, but it is now the AI Eraser. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you can see I'm getting a statement of use, basically a user agreement. I'm going to agree and continue. And here we go, a little bit of a tutorial. So there is a smart lasso. That is cool. We're definitely going to test that. So it should kind of intelligently snap onto whatever you're trying to erase. Or you can also paint over it. So that is also a good option. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the smart lasso. We're going to zoom in on these two toys down here. We're going to circle them and see that looks pretty darn good. So let's come over here to the Pixel. We're going to go into Magic Editor, which is going to be our equivalent. We're going to zoom in on the same object. We're going to circle it just the same. And it did, I would say, a much worse job. Over here, it just went ahead and did it. I didn't actually tell it to do it. I guess it was doing it the entire time in the background, so we didn't get a great one-to-one look. But I would say that did a pretty darn good job. So let's just take what we got here and we're going to click on erase, and both of these are going to work very much the same way. They're going to use a large language model, probably being done in the cloud, and it's going to try to erase that object. So let's zoom in down here and make sure that I'm looking at the right spot by toggling it. So you can see that both of these did a fairly similar job. I will say that the preview over here on the OnePlus device is a higher resolution. This is kind of a little bit blurry as we are zooming in, so we may need to save it to actually zoom in and compare. One cool thing about what Google does here is you get different options. You can zoom in and they will all be ever so slightly different. So we're going to go ahead and click the check mark on that and we will save a copy so that we can zoom in and presumably see that looking a little bit clearer. I think that they both did a really good job, but we're not done there. We're going to go a step further. We're going to actually try to erase Jet as well. This time, let's use the paint over option and see how that works. And it looks like, okay, so that definitely wasn't as intelligent. It seems to have missed a few things around her. And you can see that it's trying to recognize, which is interesting. And we had an error there, failed to remove, check your network settings. Let's go ahead and do this smart lasso since we kind of saw how that worked. And it didn't look like it was going to work quite as well. That worked much, much better. So we'll see if it's able to do what it can do there. And we will come over here and we will do the exact same thing. That did much, much better. We're going to go ahead and erase. Over here, I like that there's a progress bar. That looks fantastic. That looks really, really good. And over here on the Pixel, I would say that we are in a similar place, a similar level of good. Now, one interesting thing we can kind of zoom in on here is this little bit of wood grain, this knot. You can see how they both completed the knot in the wood plank, but they completed them in different ways. Either way, though, I am actually really impressed with how well this is working. Now, of course, with Magic Editor, you can do a few additional things that I think are worth pointing out. So if I select this area down here in front of her and then select Reimagine, I'm able to type something out that it's then going to try to generate for me. So I've tossed my command over to the AI overlords and they are trying to generate what I typed in, and I should get 3 different options for what I typed in. A small bear standing on a red ball, and there you go. You have 3 different versions that he looks terrified to be doing what he is doing. Now, it's also important to point out that on the OnePlus Open, you do have access to Magic Editor. I can pull up Google Photos and I can have access to Magic Editor just the same. Now, if I don't have a Google One subscription, I'm only going to be able to save 10 edits per month. That's something to, I believe that's correct. That's something to very much keep in mind. You also do not have that reimagine feature that I just used to generate that very small bear on a red ball. Overall, though, I'm actually really impressed with OnePlus's execution here. Now, I do assume that that LLM is probably running in the cloud much the same way as Magic Editor or Samsung's Generative Edit, but even still, it seemed like it was pretty darn quick to me. I will say that the animations, whether it was through circling or by coloring things in, almost had like an Apple-esque aesthetic, which I think looked really good. So definitely praise there for those animations and for the smart lasso, seemingly doing better than Google's own Magic Editor was able to do. It's also really important to point out that in their blog post, the only mention that they give towards limitations is that you can use it up to 400 times per day, which is pretty darn insane. Keep in mind that Samsung may start charging for theirs down the line, and Google, if you don't have a Pixel phone, already requires a Google One subscription to save your image more than 10 times per month. Hopefully that's correct. If not, I'll throw something up on the screen. But that is definitely really good as well. Overall, like I said, this is pretty darn impressive, guys. I just hope that OnePlus is able to speed this up a little bit. Took them a long time to get this feature rolled out. Now that it's here, it looks pretty darn good, though. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.